What's up, YouTube? Ryan back today with another sports card video. Today, I'm going through every StarStock A card I bought from StarStock.com to see if it's worth sending to PSA and if I think it's going to get a PSA 10 or not. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. This is a video I've been wanting to do for a long time. Honestly, this is something I'm very excited about and very skeptical about, because this is the first time I've ever seen StarStock A's in person. So, if any of you don't know, StarStock.com, pretty sweet little website. Basically, you can buy graded cards off there, you can buy raw cards off there, but with the raw cards, what they do is they give them a grade. They do StarStock A, StarStock B, and StarStock C. And basically, the A is supposed to be like their best raw quality cards, you know? Stuff that you could confidently submit to get a 9 or a 10 at PSA. To add to that, the most accurate information I've found is roughly 42% of their StarStock A's get PSA 10s. So, again, that was a while ago. That was probably a year ago I heard that, so I'm not sure exactly. So, I'm going to go through all these cards. I have about 45 cards here. I got a big stack. And some of them are really nice cards. And I spent probably like $500 on all of this over time. Roughly, maybe less than that. I can't remember. But I think with the value after they went up, when I pulled them off their website, is like above $600 worth of raw cards. So we'll see. I'm hoping I can send some of these. I have looked at some of them are bad. So basically what we're going to do here is I'm going to go through each and every card. I'm going to do a lot of edits in this video just to get you guys the information you guys want to see. I'm going to basically look at the card, and then I'm going to show you guys the defects and why I do or don't think it'll get PSA 10. We'll make a PSA 10 stack. We'll make a not PSA 10 stack. And then, like, I don't know, maybe like why would this card even be in StarStock A stack? So we'll see how it goes. I'm going to jump into it pretty quick here, so if you guys like this video, please get a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. As always, if you guys have ever had any experience with StarStock, please post it down below. I'm very curious. This is the first time I've ever done this. And based off the quick looks I've done, I don't think it's going to go very well. So let's go. Let's do it. All right, let's do this thing. We're just going to go one at a time. First up, this is an Armani Smith Bowman Chrome Refractor. Just going to use my microfiber cloth. And we're just going to go pretty quick here. This one actually looks pretty solid. Little surface mark here. Should come off. There we go. This one actually looks pretty good. So, again, not one of my bigger cards in this purchase, but I would say this has a chance to get a PSA 10. Cool. Just double check the centering on the back. I'd say this has a chance. So we'll give that one to the PSA 10 stack. I have a second one here. And some of these cards are going to be really nice cards. Some of these, like this one, I'm not super concerned about. 2019 Bowman was a great product. They did really well with the quality. No print lines there. Centering looks even better on this one. I'd say this has a chance to get a PSA 10. All right, Peyton Burdick Sky Blue Refractor. And I haven't taken any of these out of sleeves yet. I've only looked at some of these cards at a quick glance. This one, perfect surface. Centering is pretty good, a little thick on the bottom, but I would say this has a chance. I would give this one a chance. So that's pretty good. 3 for 3 so far. I promise you it's going to get worse. As the better cards come out, what I've looked at so far. Next up, this is Cody Hose. Randomly bought this. A lot of these StarStock purchases were spontaneous purchases from following the minor league season, whether it had a big week or, like, for this one, he was their the Dodgers' first round pick in 2019. So I was literally like, all right, first rounder, Dodgers usually draft pretty well. I was just like, let's go for it. Beautiful card, though. This actually, I would give it a chance. Give it a chance to PSA 10. I have to clean up the edges a little bit, but looks pretty good. All right, Bo Bichette Flagship. I bought this one like StarStock first came out, when these actually had some value still. Little whitening on the back corner, so I wouldn't send this. I don't think I'd send this anyways right now with how low these prices went. I bought these when these were in PSA 10s were selling for like $60+ This one looks pretty good. Flagship's a little more tough. That top right corner does have a little white on it though, so I'll put it in the not pile. So we'll do the PSA 10 not, and then if there's any like terrible cards, we'll put them here. All right, next up, Tristan Cassis Refractors is one I was excited about. I don't have one of these in a PSA 10. I was hoping that this could be it, but I can already tell surface looks good. I'll say that. So far, the surfaces have looked really great, to be honest. But you can definitely tell left to right centering, so this would not get a 10. PSA can be kind of lenient sometimes on centering, but I would say this is a little too extreme. So I'm going to put that in the not PSA 10 pile. 2018 is very distinct on their centering. It's very easy to tell a difference. Next up, Grant McCray Sapphire, a little low-key Giants prospect. I think I bought this for literally like $3. Looks like there's a print line down the middle. Sometimes Sapphire can get away with that. The rest of the card looks pretty good, though. Bottom corner, a little fray there. Oh, there's a little dink. No, never mind. That came off. So, tiny print line on the front. With Sapphire, I would say this has a chance. I would say it has a chance. Not super confident in it, but I would say it has a chance. Just because it's Sapphire. Definitely seen some print lines get overlooked because of the cracked ice little view. Next up, K Cavalli Sapphire, another one I'm excited about here. Love K Cavalli. A little fray here on the bottom corner. Looks like it just came off though. Surface looks good. Definitely warped, which is not terrible. But I would say, other than that, centering looks pretty good. Maybe a little tiny bit thick on the bottom, but I don't think that's enough to sway PSA too much. I'd say this has a legitimate chance. And when I say a chance, I can't be confident with PSA anymore. Based off some of the grades I've gotten back, I went from like a 90% gem rate down to like, I think my last order estimate is like close, like under 50 or close to 50. Zach Veen, okay, I will say they've done a good job on the surfaces. On these StarStock A so far, the surfaces have looked really good. Looks like there might be a little dent on this surface actually, but no, I think that might be the design of the card. I think I remember that on the Veen. It's not like a dent, but I think it's like part of the audience. Looks a little off. But I will say the centering's off. It's definitely left to right heavy. I probably would not send this to PSA because of that. Next up, Miguel Vargas Mojo. Again, clean surface. I do love that. I do love that, but you can see the top to bottom centering is just really far off, so I don't think I would send a card like this expecting a 10. I would definitely be expecting a 9 because of that, but you never know. It could pull a 10. The rest of the card did look pretty solid. Nick Gonzalez, refractor here. I actually already have one of these in a PSA 10. Centering is good on this one. I'd say it's probably the best centering we've seen so far. No, maybe not. Little left heavy. These 2021s you gotta look at a little bit, but a little left heavy there. The rest of it looks pretty good though. I don't think that left centering would really kill the card. Surface looks really good. Back looks solid. The back's got like part of the gloss missing, so I don't know how they would judge that. I'm gonna put that in the not pile, just because I'm not 100% sure how they would go about that. Other than that, the front actually looks pretty good. Little left heavy on the centering. Next up, Zach DeLaroche Sapphire. We got a lot of Sapphires in this order. I bought a lot of my Sapphires off StarStock, hoping that they would come back and I could send them off to PSA, but I'm not sure. Right here, you can tell a little right heavy on this card. Top to bottom looks really good though, so maybe this is not too terrible. I would say this is probably like 55-45 centering. The rest of it looks solid though. Again, I mean, not bad. Really strong start. I would say this one has a chance. Really strong start to this order, but I will give StarStock credit for the surface. They did a very good job with the StarStock A's, making sure they had good surfaces. And then this Detmer Sapphire again, good surface, centering, a little heavy on the left. I'd say a little heavier than I'd like. Yeah, I'll put this one in the not, just because I couldn't confidently send this one. It's a little too thick on the left compared to the right. I'd say it's probably pushing 60-40. Next up, Hover Refractor, very heavy on the left compared to the right, especially in this top right corner, very thin compared to the left. Surface again on these, the surfaces have been excellent. So I'm just gonna expect good surfaces, I guess, for all these cards. But no, not bad at all. I wouldn't send it though, only because of the centering. So centering's off a little bit. So far, based on this so far, I would say they care a lot about the surfaces when they grade. Reese-Hines refractor. But they care less about the centering for sure. Looks like there's a print line actually on this one. It's very faint over his body, so I definitely think PSA could overlook it, but I wouldn't send it confidently. It's a very faint print line. So I would say maybe, but I wouldn't send it. Next up, Ronnie Mauricio Mojo. I don't know why, I just really like the design of this card. His stance, his swing, it just looks sweet. He's got the glasses on. I love it. Surface is clean. You see that with Mojos a lot. They do a really good job on that. Trying to look at the corners. Corners look good. Centering on the back isn't terrible. I would say this has a chance. This is how they sent it. I wish they were all on top loaders, but it's a lot of top loaders, I guess. Ed Howard refractor, a little heavy on the left side, but not terrible. It's one of those where, and I got a 9 from my Bobby Witt that I sent those exactly like this, where it's thicker on the top left, thinner on the top right, but then it's thinner on the bottom left, but thicker on the bottom right. So it kind of like evens itself out. So I got a 9 on my Witt for that, but I think it really depends on the grader. I would say this has a chance. Again, that centering, who knows? But I think it kind of balanced itself out. Eloy flagship. I can already see the top right corner on this. It's not going to get a 10. Again, one I bought a long time. Ooh, this is one of my bigger ones here. Jordan Walker Sapphire. This one I was super excited about. But as I could show you right now, that the centering is way heavy right to left. Way heavy right to left. Surface looks great, though. Surface does look great. I will say that. But I would not confidently send this because of the centering. It's definitely a little obvious. So I'm not sure why that was a StarStock A. The surface does look great, but the centering is definitely way off. Like, way off. If I saw that in a 10, I'd be like, okay, that grader was way too nice. So, cool. Nick York refractor here. That Jordan Walker might be the biggest card in the order now, based off the raw values. So it's pretty disappointing. I really was hoping for a chance to be able to submit that, but I just can't see it getting a 10. Grader would really have to overlook that. This centering looks off top to bottom. I was going to say good left to right, which it does, but top to bottom, it's definitely off. I would not feel confident sending this. Top to bottom, I feel just looks a lot worse than left to right when it's off, so I do think graders would pick up on that more. But the rest of the card looks good. Again, solid surface. Really good surfaces on all these so far. And PSA, I mean, they've definitely tightened up over the time, but they used to be super lenient on centering. Keone Cavaco, one of my spontaneous purchases. I think I bought this for like $1. And StarStock A. Looks good. Again, 2019 was a great product. Centering is actually solid, so I do think this would get a 10. Is it worth to send it? Probably not. Definitely hasn't turned out to. I thought maybe last year he figured it out. He was a pretty high draft pick, first rounder back in 2019 for the Twins. He just hasn't really figured it out. Surface looks great. Centering, little heavy top to bottom, as you can see there. So I probably wouldn't send this one. 2019 is hard though. Like, to legitimately judge centering on 2019 is very difficult. Very difficult. They don't have any defined borders or anything like that. All right, Oscar Gonzalez. He's been raking for the Guardians since he got brought up. Good surface. Centering is a little heavy top to bottom, but not too far off. And the rest of the centering looks good. So top to bottom centering is about it, I would say. And again, I will say, I should have said this at the beginning of the video, but my camera is at a tiny bit of an angle. So if you do notice something that I don't, it might just because the camera angle. All right, there's a couple stray pieces of plastic there, or card, I don't know. But I would say this has a chance. I'll give it to it. Again, I've seen some pretty rough grades from PSA recently. I'm just not super confident sending anything there now. I used to be super confident I had a 90% gem rate, but got some pretty bad ones back. All right, this is a good one. This is actually Oscar Gonzalez refractor numbered to 499. Out of regular Bowman, the refractors are numbered. It does look like there's some print lines across it, though. 1, 2, and then a tiny, tiny one. So I'd say 3 there. The rest of the card looks really good, though. But I wouldn't confidently send it. Very faint print lines, but still. If it came back a 9, I would know exactly why, and I couldn't really be mad about it. Everson Pereira here. Mojo. Centering looks good. Surface looks good. Yeah, not bad. Look good. I would send this. I think this would get a 10. That one looked very solid. All right, Pereira Sapphire. I like Everson Pereira a lot. It's actually pretty slow right now. This is a good time to actually buy his stuff, I think, because I do think he's a crazy good talent. But look how bad the centering is on this. This is one of them that I was bummed about. It seemed like every big card I have in this order that I was super excited for had really bad centering. So like this I would not send. Surface looks good. But that left to right is brutal. Like that is horrible. Like this would probably get an 8. So that's the one I'm actually gonna throw to the side here. The rest of the card looks good, but that is terrible centering. All right, Brett Beatty Sapphire. Love me some Brett Beatty. Surface looks good. Centering looks a little bit top to bottom, but definitely not enough to be like definitely a 9. I'd say this has a chance. I would say it has a chance. Cool. Brett Beatty Refractor. Surface looks great. Edges, corners look solid. Centering a little top to bottom. Bottom just a little heavy. But I would say it has a chance. So right now, based off our piles, it looks like we're about 50-50. So that 42% is actually looking not too bad. Pete Crow Armstrong, Sapphire. Again, the surfaces on all these are excellent. They've missed a couple print lines, but there hasn't been any bad print lines. I can say that. Like no thick print lines on these cards yet. Little piece of thread here at the bottom corner. Looks like it came off though. Centering, little top to bottom from the back side, but the top's pushing it a little bit. The top's pushing it a little bit, but I would say it has a chance. I would say it has a chance. It's not quite there. It's probably like 55-45. All right. Refractor this time. Again, surface is excellent. I do love that. I will say they did a good job on the surfaces. Definitely, I think this top is pushing it, though. You can definitely see this is just a little more thin on the top. I wouldn't send this confidently. You can just tell when it gets to that point where it's like, that's just a little too skinny for me. Vukovic, I got a lot of Vukovic in this. I like Vukovic a lot for a very cheap buy. Might have a surface flaw here. Yep, tiny surface flaw. So we won't send it, but the centering is actually really nice. Next up, Sky Blue. You can tell the centering is very off on this one. I would say this is probably 8 category. Surface looks good though. Everything else, it's definitely these StarStock A seem to have just one flaw. So I will say that. That's not bad. And I know a lot of people actually send based off of that, but I think that centering is actually really bad. Where I think it could maybe get an 8. Vukovic Sapphire. Centering a little heavy top to bottom. But this left to right is like perfect. Everything else looks pretty good. The bottom's just a little thin for me. Just barely. Barely. I'd put it in the 9 category. All right, Sparkle Vukovic. I love the sparkles. I wish they were numbered because the auto's such a low number. But definitely left to right on this. Or right heavy, you can see. The rest of it looks good, though. I haven't looked at the back yet, but I wouldn't send it confidently anyways. Refractor. It looks like we have one more after this. Heavy right to left. We don't even have to go into detail on that. Very heavy right to left. I don't like that one at all. And then this one. I bought a lot of these. I think they're super cheap. I think they're like $2 or $3. And this is someone that does have a lot of power potential. Centering looks pretty good. Surface looks good. Never mind. So if you go from bottom to bottom, definitely heavy there. The tops look great, but the left to right on the bottom, I don't know what they did with these designs, but no. They can get a 9, no, because the top of the card does look good. All right, we got some Stots here. Sky blue. Beautiful surface. Edges, corners look good. Centering a little heavy on the top compared to the bottom. But again, 2019 for me is tough. I don't think a grader would really get me for that. So I would say this one has a chance. I just think the 2019 design, unless they legitimately look over and judge it based off just the back of the card, which isn't always the best place to look for centering. It's just the only thing they really give you on 2019. I would say it had a chance. I would say this has a chance as well. A little bit better centering. If you look at the back, almost perfect, I would say. Surface was flawless, though. Surface was beautiful. That might have been the cleanest surface of the day. Stott Sapphire. Looks like we have a little speck of something here. I'm not sure if it's going to come off. Oh, it did. Sweet. Surface looks great. And then edges, corners look good. That's one thing I haven't seen at all, though, from these A's. I haven't seen any blatant white marks. The flagship, probably just because they shipped them in penny sleeves and not top loaders, and it probably got it during shipping. But these chrome cards, they all look pretty good. Like, honestly, like, I haven't seen a blatant, like, oh, white corner. Not going to happen. I would say this has a chance. All right, Xavier Edwards, Mega Box. You can just tell right here. I'm not even going to take it out. Top to bottom, definitely off. Left to right doesn't look too bad, though. Again, I would say this one's a little bit better. A little bit thicker on the bottom, but it is still off top to bottom. Such a strange design with the Xavier Edwards this year at the fence behind him. It's like very blatant when you're looking at the surface. But this one actually looks good. I would give this one a chance. And I will always say a chance now because I used to think I knew what I was doing with PSA. My first 60 cards I submitted, literally an 87% gem rate, but it has gotten tough. All right, Atomic. I love the Atomic here. Centering barely thick on the bottom, but the rest of the centering looks really good. Surface looks good. Corners, very solid. All right, I'm happy with that. Xavier Edwards, again, just more of a singles hitter. He's been dealing with injuries, too, throughout his career. And our last two cards are going to be Anthony Volpe, but I do think Xavier Edwards could be good. Definitely way too thick on the top. You don't even have to look at that. That is just, no. I would say this is 8 territory. That thickness is so terrible. And then, one side note, this card, they actually didn't include it in my first order, and that's why it's in the top loader. They sent it to me individually. I had to email them, and they're actually really cool about it. They literally just said, okay, we'll send it. It's the only card they left out of my order. That's why I kind of been sitting waiting for this, but it definitely doesn't look like they pulled this out of the StarStock A pile. It's got a print line on it. Top to bottom's off. Left to right is off. No. I would put this in an 8 category because it has a print line and it's off both top to bottom and left to right. So, all right, let's crunch some numbers and then we will figure out how we did. All right, everyone. After reviewing the numbers, we had 5 8s, or potential 8s. We had 20 potential 9s and 20 potential 10s. So what that goes out to is the PSA 10 or the potential gem rate of these cards, 44% actually. So the 42% was actually pretty accurate, actually a little bit above that. But I will say I'm a little bummed though, because basically every big card that I was looking forward to, I would say my most look forward to cards in this whole order, just because for whatever reason I didn't have them already or they're the most valuable, a lot of them ended up not in that gem pile. So literally these are probably my top 5 cards. Maybe not completely, maybe not the Casas, but definitely this Volpe Sapphire, the Pereira Sapphire, and the Walker Sapphire. Those are my favorite cards in this order, and they weren't in the gem pile. So I was a little bummed on that. It definitely seems like the more expensive cards, definitely the more expensive cards, because I would say most of these I paid between $3 and $10, and I would say these I spent between 10 and I think that I spent $75 I think on that Volpe Sapphire. So definitely a little bummed, but honestly, could have been a lot worse. Could have been a lot worse. I feel a lot better after doing this video, actually, seeing it actually come out to be about a 44%. I was trying to be a little strict. Again, I was trying to go quick, so I'll probably have to look over them again. But the surfaces are all clean. Like, legit, maybe like 3 cards out of this whole order, the surface, you can be like, all right, they missed a print line that is really bad. But no, honestly, surfaces are great. I would say the corners and edges were great on almost every single card. Like, other than those flagships, had a little bit of white, but that's flagship for you. And then, you know, it's really just the centering. Like, at the end of the day, I think it's just the centering. And, you know, maybe they look at these cards, they're like, PSA, they used to be really lenient on their centering. And, I mean, maybe that's why they put them in the StarStock A. Like, that was the only flaw in the card was the centering. So maybe they think that PSA would give it a 10. So, I don't know. I'm pretty happy, actually. I'm a lot happier after I did this because my initial review when I got these cards, I was too excited. I literally just went through them really quick because there's so many of these cards I've been waiting on, and they took like 4 months to ship them to me, by the way. I just flew through them, and I was like, dang, like every big card is bad centering, but I feel better after making this video. So, and one last thing I wanted to add was, after doing this, I'm not sure if I would buy with StarStock again. They're not really doing too much raw cards anymore, maybe because stuff like this, but the expensive ones not getting the grade I would want. I'd probably use StarStock for the cheaper stuff still, because that was pretty consistent. So I don't think I'd buy anything expensive on StarStock anymore that's raw. So hopefully this video was helpful for everyone watching. If you guys like this video, as always, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. As always, related to the video, if you guys have had any experience with StarStock, put it down below. Good, bad, yay, nay. Let me know. What do you think of my order also? So thank you all for watching. I hope this was helpful. You have a great rest of your day. See ya!